This is the video notes for the guided notes simplifying negative exponents. So today what we're going to focus on is how do I turn a negative exponent into a positive exponent? Okay, because we can't really do anything math-wise with negatives. We need to have exponents as positive. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump in, especially with number 1 and number 2, and we're going to take a look at both of these. And I'm going to take number 1 and I'm going to turn that into a fraction. Okay, so number 1 is going to be 5 to the negative third power over 1. And look at number 2, it's the opposite of that. It's 1 over 5 to the negative 3 power. Now, here's the catch. With the rule for changing a negative exponent to a positive is to flip it to the other side of your fraction, okay? Now, when I say other side, I mean move it from top to bottom or bottom to top. Now, sometimes we think about sides as being right to left, but in fractions, it's top to bottom, bottom to top, numerator to denominator, denominator to numerator. Okay, and see, I said that right up here. Okay, flipping it from top to bottom or bottom to top. So if I want to change this negative 3 on this 5 to a positive, what I'm going to do is take it and literally flip it to the bottom down here. So what I'm going to do is put the 5 to the third on the bottom, and I change the sign from a negative to a positive. Okay, well, that means now there's nothing left in the numerator, so I just put a 1 placeholder. And that would be my answer. And yes, that is all there is to it. To change a negative exponent to its positive, you just switch it to the opposite side of the fraction. Because think about that. Negative 3 and positive 3 are opposites of each other. So to go from a negative to a positive, we put it on the opposite side. Okay? Well, it's the same thing right here. With number 2, the 5 to the negative 3 is in my denominator. So to change it to a positive, I'm going to flip it up to the numerator. So then I'm going to have 5 to the third. And I don't have a denominator. We can put a 1 placeholder right there. But you know what? We don't usually make denominator of 1. We don't write it down. So my answer is really just going to be 5 to the third. Okay? Again, if it's negative, flip it to the other side of the fraction and turn it from a negative to a positive exponent. Okay? Now, let's look at number 3. Okay, at any time, remember you can pause the video and copy down before you move to the next example. If I look at number 3, let's just turn it into a fraction because I see this 6 to the negative 4. That means 6 to the negative 4 to turn it into a positive 4. I'm going to have to move it to the denominator. Okay. Making my fraction line, and I'm going to put 6 to the 4th on the bottom. But look at this 5 to the third. That 3 is a positive exponent. It is not negative. I don't need to move it. I only move the negative exponents. So the 5 to the third is going to stay right where it is. Does not move. And there is my answer. Okay. Now, let's recap that. Move your exponents that are negative. Don't move the positives. Leave them right where they are. Okay. Now, look at number 4. Okay. Make my fraction line right here. Now, what I do when I'm trying to think about moving these things back and forth is I'll ask myself, is it positive? Does it stay? Is it negative? Does it move? So my question is, 2 to the third power, stay or move? That's a positive exponent. It stays. Now, In my denominator, I've got 4 to the negative 5. Ask myself, does it stay or move? It's a negative. That means it's going to move, and it's going to move up. So that means I'm going to put 4 to the 5th power up here. Now, notice I now have nothing in my denominator, so if I want to, I could put a 1 placeholder. But again, you don't normally write 1 denominators. We just drop them off and we just know it's there. We don't write it, okay? So that would be 2 to the 3rd, 4 to the 5th, just like that, okay? Now, look at number 5. This is a little more challenging, but that's okay. I see 2 sets of parentheses, but what do I see right in the middle of those parentheses? I see a division symbol. So that means the first thing I need to do is just rewrite everything to look like a fraction. Sorry. So 4 to the negative 6, 8 to the 2nd power, all over 5 to the 3rd, 7 to the negative 2. Okay. Now I need to get rid of my negative exponents. So I'm just literally going to walk through this piece by piece and ask myself, is it a negative exponent and should I keep it or move it? Okay. So 4 to the negative 6, that's a negative. So that means this right here has got to move down. So I'm going to put 4 to the 6th power in the bottom. The next term I see is 8 to the 2nd power. Well, that's a positive exponent. So what does that mean? It means it stays in your numerator, just right here. Okay? Now, in the denominator, I have 5 to the 3rd power. Again, that 3 is positive, so it stays put right there. Okay? Now, 7 to the negative 2 power. That's a negative exponent, so that means it's got to move up. So 7 to the 2nd power. Now, I will say this is a good answer, but a lot of times people will rewrite it and put these base numbers like the 7 and the 8 in ascending order. Okay, so 7, then 8, 4, and then 5. They're in order from smallest to largest or in ascending order. And there is my answer. Okay, so if you will go ahead and watch, finish copying down your notes, and then go to Canvas and work on your assignment.